Hello internet friends, how's it going? Hey, so I wanted to record a video. I've been meaning to record some stuff for a while, and then one person on the internet was like, hey, are you ever going to record videos ever again? To which the answer is, yeah, how about I do that now? Well, the house is quiet. My husband's off playing Dungeons and Dragons with his friends. So what better time to sit here alone talking to a machine? AKA the untold internet out there. So yeah, so a while ago I was talking about the whole Amazon ebook situation, and how I really just wanted to not give them any more money. You know, I feel like Jeff Bezos is doing okay. I don't really want to add more to his giant monolithic operation. And I'm just wary of big companies that are just taking up, you know, too many slices of pie, basically. So, so I wanted to get away from the Amazon thing, and I still wanted to be able to use ebooks from the library because that's a pretty groovy, great system, and it's just mighty convenient. I don't know if it's the most ethically perfect optimum system, but it's real handy and I like it. So I wanted to be able to do that while not using an Amazon thing. Okay, so got a little pile of gadgets here. Okay, pile of gadgets that I'm going to talk about all these things. Okay, so this is the old one. This is my old Kindle, which functionally works pretty well. I mean, it's fine. Really the advantage to that is just it works. This is like a 4th generation Kindle, so it's been around for a while. Honestly, the biggest advantage to it in terms of ways you can hack it is you can't really do anything with it. I jailbroke it and then I was like, I can't do anything with this. This is meaningless. So now it's jailbroken, which gave it a book that says the title Jailbroken. But anyway, so that didn't change what I could do with it. Maybe other people could who are more hacky and technical and savvy in that department than I am, which I'm not very. But I just would keep it on airplane mode indefinitely, and then only transfer books via the computer. I would go to the library Overdrive website. I don't know how universal the Overdrive thing is, but that's how it is. It's the system that the libraries use for all the libraries in my area that I know of. So that's out there. And anyway, so I would go there and I would check out a book, and then it would send me to Amazon, and then it would have me download a book, and then I would plug my Kindle into the computer and then transfer the book to the Kindle. So, and that works reasonably okay. And then if you keep the trick is that if you keep your Kindle on airplane mode forever, then it doesn't check the timestamp to see when the book is supposed to expire, so you can continue reading books for longer than the amount of time that it's supposed to be checked out to you for. So, you know, use responsibly, but I admit there are times when I was like, you know, it would have returned before, and I was able to finish reading my book, you know. So there's that. But it's still Amazon, and there's maybe 2 books that I paid for on Amazon, and now those are locked onto this Kindle, so now I can never read them in any other device, or at least any other non-Amazon approved device, which is annoying. Without some heavy-duty hacking, I don't know, I might try it one of these days just to see if I could get it, but I'm not going to hold my breath about it. It's probably not going to work, and it's clearly not how you want it to be, you know? I don't want, if I pay money for a book, I don't want it to be locked into that book system forever. Like, what if, well, I mean, that's a stupid thing to say. What if Amazon goes under? Who knows? You know, the world is a weird place. So, okay, so anyway, so I don't want to use that anymore. So, we did some investigating. I still don't feel like there's an optimal solution that I was able to find, but there are ways to do some stuff that don't involve Amazon. So, this is a Kobo e-reader. This is the Clara, I believe, is the version of it. It's just a cute little dainty number like this. It doesn't have a case on it. This one has a case, so it's a bit bulkier. Okay, they're pretty close to the same size, actually, the 6-inch e-reader, I think. This is my husband's, and we did some looking around, researching, trying to find a good non-Amazon thing for him. He actually came to me. I'm the open sourcey, Linuxy one in the family, but he was complaining about Amazon was reading about how they treat their workers and employees like crap, and he didn't want to participate in that, and I was like, that's awesome. So he had an old Kindle Fire, I think, that he got ages ago, and I was kind of dissuading him from using it because of the, you read it late at night and it's shining blue light in your face, and that's not helpful for your, nervous system to help you sleep at night. So I'd actually gotten him a Kindle, and I was just like, well, whatever, you should probably want something that's easy to work with, and I'm not gonna worry about this too much. So I got him a Kindle, and then he came to me being like, that's fine and all, but it's Amazon and that's gross. And I was like, that's fantastic, thank you. So it was right within, it was like 1 day away from the return time frame, the return window expiring, so I gleefully packed it up and shipped it back to Amazon. So that was cool. So we did some looking. We found the Kobo. So Kobo is made by Rakuten, which is the same company that owns Overdrive. So what's good about that is just that, this is going to run Overdrive, right? So they're made to work together. So that's cool. And so that has a pretty simple interface where the library tab is kind of built into their Kobo ebook store. So I don't think we've bought any books on the Kobo store yet, but I'm assuming it's not a big problem, and the online or Overdrive library thing seems to work pretty well for reading books. And it's kind of cute. It shows you the little book that you're reading, the cute little picture of the book that you're reading at the moment. It's just a detail. It's cute. This one is by Peter Brett. My husband says it's terrible, and he got really mad at it, so that one's not recommended. So one other thing, the thing that we didn't like about the Kobo, I feel like my hair is silly. The thing we didn't like about the Kobo was their privacy policy. So we almost were like, abort mission on this Kobo reader, and might have if we'd found a better option. But just the fact that their privacy policy was, I think, not okay. I think it's not okay. So it basically said, we can collect your information and share it with our retail partners in the country that you live in. Something like that. And so that was basically like, we're just going to use your information and give it to whoever we feel like. That's how I translated that. So, maybe that's pretty typical, but I think that's unethical. And so we looked around. My husband was really mad at that. We looked around trying to find another option. Couldn't find another option. I sent them a sternly worded email. They don't care. I don't think that's... I was like, well, at least it is a tick mark on their register of complaints. But I don't think that's how people should do business. So, there we go. But given the world that we live in, and that, it's like, sell people's information, make more money, don't sell people's information, make less money. Like, that's kind of where we're at right now, which is unfortunate. So, that's the biggest downside. Okay, after more investigating, I considered getting a Kobo, but I have a long time life goal of being able to write and edit text documents or markdown files on an e-ink screen. It's a long time goal I've had, because I wanted to be able to get away from the bunch of factors. The distraction of the computer. Even if I'm not online, I do have a tendency to twiddle with software. I'm like, oh, maybe I need to change the theme of this. Obviously that's nonsense. I don't need to change the theme of anything. But it's a compulsion deep down in my nerdy heart sometimes. So, yeah, so that's one reason to not use the computer for writing. Also just the glowy screen. Maybe I'm oversensitive to all this. I know I'm oversensitive to all this stuff. Just like bright, harsh lights hurt my eyes, you know, chemical smells, can't handle it. I'm just that person. I just like, it needs to stop it. It needs to respect my boundaries. So there's that. So, and plus I just think it's more like calming and soothing not to have lights shining on you all the time, you know? So I did some digging around, and apparently the ebooks that are out there that have an e-ink screen but give you enough flexibility to work with other programs, you know, basically having a more interface options than just like something super simple like the Kobo and the Kindle where you just read book and that's all you can do. And so basically the only options that I could find that give you more capabilities to run apps and stuff is basically Android. So, you know, Android's okay. It works. It's not my favorite just because I don't like Google and I don't like their policies and I don't like, you know, they're as big of a monolith, give or take, as Amazon, and I don't really want to be involved in either of those. But it does give some good options and you can sideload apps. So I enjoy app sideloading. That's great. Anyway, so what I got is the Onyx Boox, spelled B-O-O-X, so you have to say it funny, Onyx Boox Nova Pro. So it is like this. What's it? A 7-inch, 7.5-inch screen, something like that. It's got a pretty simple Android interface. They've modified it a little bit, but basic Android. And then it has a little apps button, and you can install stuff. I sideload apps because obviously I'm not going to log into a Google account on this thing. I don't want to, I can't delete the Google Play Store, sadly, from this interface. I 100% would if I could. The Onyx Boox has its own app store, which I've used a little bit. I don't know, it seems okay. And then the Google Play Store comes installed, which I ignore, and then I use F-Droid to install the apps that I can that are interested in there, because F-Droid is great. At least those are open source and generally good vibes. And then for the ones like Overdrive and a couple others that I couldn't find on F-Droid, then I went to APK Pure, which sounds weird when you say it out loud. Anyway, and get those and download them and transfer them onto the tablet, or else download them. You can go to the website on this tablet and download those and install them onto here, and that works pretty well. So the refresh rate, you can feel it. It's a little weird, and some apps are made for color, and then this one is black and white. So then like the buttons aren't, they're a little weird, you know, sometimes visually it's a little wonky. And e-ink refresh rate is real. It doesn't flow smoothly. It doesn't keep up as fast, but you can adjust it on here. It's got a little doodad to change like how often it refreshes. On the faster refresh, there's a little bit of ghosting, but for writing, whatever, it doesn't bother me. So it does work. And then I plug in my little, this guy, my little Bluetooth keyboard. By plug in, I mean connect wirelessly, because it doesn't plug in with a physical dealy cable. Okay, so there's that. Right, so for the apps on this, for books, I installed Libby and Overdrive, which are both by Overdrive. Those are both apps. I prefer Overdrive because the Libby interface is dumb. I don't like it. Personal preference. Maybe you love it, that's fine. Anyway, that's how I read library books and stuff like that. And then this one is cute. I don't use this a ton, but it does have a groovy note feature. It's got the little stylus, and it's got, you know, so you can write on it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not a big screen. I enjoy drawing little designs on it more than anything else. But you can write on it, you're supposed to be able, it's got a little, OCR, I guess, doodad on there so that you can write stuff, and then it transfers, translates it into text, and then you can export that as a text document or whatever. But I don't find that it works great, especially with cursive, but I like to write in cursive. I know, I grew up emulating my grandmother's handwriting, literally, because I thought it looked cool. And so now I always write in cursive, and that doesn't go over as well with the OCR. So it's okay. It's okay. It's cool that they're doing that. I don't find it 100% most useful favorite thing ever, personally. Okay, but then the other thing on here is it just has a little library thing, the library of books that you put on here. So it won't work with Kindle books because Kindle is its own thing, and it doesn't want to, doesn't want to hang out with all the rest of these peasants. So I can't put any Kindle books on here, but it does work with EPUB and a bunch of other file formats. And EPUB is great, because it's an open format. And so they do have an online shop that I haven't really used. Maybe I should check that out. But for the books that are on here, non-library loan books anyway, I went to Project Gutenberg and downloaded a bunch of groovy EPUBs because a lot of good stuff was written prior to 1920 or whatever. The somewhere around there is the public domain cutoff time at this point, since it's now 2020, which is nuts. Anyway, right. So yeah, Project Gutenberg has a crap ton of great stuff. So I got some Agatha Christie, some Arthur Conan Doyle, Marcus Aurelius. My mom says Marcus Aurelius had all kinds of good wisdom for how to be stoic but wise. Something like, I need to work on that. Some Jane Austen, some Beowulf, some Charlotte Bronte. My personal favorite, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Classic. Anyhow, so I gotta read some of this stuff. My husband and I were reading some Agatha Christie Poirot, which is just classic. It's just so good. Okay, I think that's about all I have to say about this little doodad. I will say one more thing is the Onyx Boox company. They've modified this version of Android a little bit, made some adjustments in the UI and how you navigate and stuff. It's mostly pretty darn good. There are a couple things I personally would tweak, but they have a forum. I forget what it is. I could look it up. I would probably do that and put it in the gizmo. Anyway, they do have a forum, and I feel like the company pays a lot of attention to what people say about it. When I've posted a gripe or just a question when I couldn't figure something out, I got a response from people from the company that were, anyway, I feel like they're really watching the forum and they're really trying to make a good product. So I appreciate that they're involved in, active development as well as listening to what people using these things have to say about it. So that's cool. Okay. I think the only other thing, here's the other thing. So in terms of books, I feel like those are the best option that we have at the moment. Like, it's not perfect. I'm not thrilled about these options, the Kobo and the Android, but I'm glad that I'm not in the Amazon ecosystem with them. And at least the Kobo as well will read EPUBs. So that's the same story as the Amazon. As the Android one is you can't transfer Kindle books over to it, but it will read other formats. So that's great. So hopefully just one more little customer that's not participating in that closed system. So for whatever that's worth, and then meanwhile I'm kind of just like gonna be watching how things evolve and how the market and people's what companies are out there doing what and how the market evolves over time to see when better options come along. I looked at the Remarkable tablet, which is super groovy. It's really cool, but its focus was more on note-taking. It's like a pretty fancy type note taker, and like the note taking action is cool, but it's not pivotal. It's not critical for me. So I couldn't justify spending, you know, $400-ish on something like that. The Onyx Boox one was, I think, $230. Maybe did I get a couple dollars off? I think because it was Black Friday and it came with a case, so that's fine. So it's a few dollars, but it wasn't crazy. You know, the Remarkable is cool largely because it's, I think the user interface is based on Linux, so that's rad. But I couldn't find that there was any way to connect a Bluetooth keyboard and do any writing or text editing on there. So since that was the biggest reason that I wanted it, that was sort of a so we'll see. We'll see how things go as we go forward. In terms of writing, I just, for funsies, wanted to reference my other favorite doodad, which I use all the dang time, which is the Alphasmart Neo. That's Liz's little friend. Isn't it cute? They aren't making them anymore. I think they stopped making them almost 10 years ago. It's been a little while, but this isn't from 1984. It's from well into the 2000s, so that's pretty fresh stuff. So it is just a little keyboard. It's got like a little calculator style, super chill little screen. You just turn it on, it runs off some AA batteries. And it has a keyboard. It's not like a fancy mechanical keyboard, but it's better than your laptop keyboard, pretty much. So it feels nice. And you just type on it, and it's got a little row of file 1, file 2, file 3, all the file numbers through 8 on the top. So you just press the file number that you want to open up, and you do your typing. You can go back and do some editing if you want. You just have to, you know, it has like arrow keys and stuff. So you can go back through and it shows, I don't know, how like 4 lines of text or something at once. Yeah. So, you know, that's enough to work with. It's enough to work with. So I use that for like writing first drafts of blogs or just general ideas, or keep it at my little pondering station, away from my computer, which has all the distractions that you might be familiar with on a computer. So I'm a big journaling person ever since I was a wee whippersnapper. And so yeah, so I'll do the writing on my Alphasmart and then transfer it into the computer. Excuse me. Tea is very important. Yeah, so right, so you type it onto the Alphasmart and then you plug it in with a little cable and plug it into your computer, and then it emulates a keyboard, and you open the document that you want on the screen at that moment. You don't touch your computer or change window focus or anything, because it just writes the text that you have, transfers it like a keyboard from the Alphasmart into the document on your computer, and then you have to save it. So there's no groovy, fancy syncing, no file transfer from the computer to the Alphasmart, none of that. Oh no, my battery's gonna go. Crap. Okay, I'll keep talking till it goes. Anyway, so that's kind of nice. I feel like it serves a pretty similar function to the FreeWrite, which is the other like kind of swanky, slightly hipstery. It's cool. It's a cool gizmo that has the e-paper screen, e-ink screen, and then you type on a really swanky, nice keyboard, and then it just saves it. But you can't even go back. It doesn't even have arrow keys, I don't think, to go back and do any editing in there. And then it just file syncs to Dropbox, and I don't want to do it via the cloud. You know, that's not my favorite. So plus it's like $400 or $500. Or I think there's a little one that's maybe $300. Anyway, that's kind of a lot for something that to me has a pretty. Actually, I think the Alphasmart has better functionality than the FreeWrite, just because you can flip through, it has arrow keys, and it's really simple. And I got that. I mean, you can still get them. They're not making them now, but they're out there. I got it on Amazon. I know I've been railing against Amazon, but whatever. It was like 3-4 years ago, and it was 30 odd bucks. So that was, I've gotten my 30 bucks worth for sure. Okay, so I think that's all I need to talk about at this time. I'm gonna stop this recording and maybe talk about something else for the next one. Text editors. My text editor application addiction. That sounds like fun. Okay, cool. I can also tell you about shampoo alternatives if you want. Okay, see you later. Bye.